Hello and welcome to Reviews. Now, you may have noticed I haven't really been doing many videos this week, as you heard in another video, and as you can tell in this one, I have the flu. I am really sick, um, and this is pretty much. I don't know if my voice is going to make it through the video. I always say I want to do a short video, then I talk for 20 minutes. I'm going to really try not to do that tonight, but I do have something really cool coming. At the end of the video, I'm going to draw another winner for the Magik figure. Unfortunately, there was an issue with Motion Kings, and he was pretty cool about it, so I thank you. But anyway, I'm going to take a look at this, and then I'll pull another name for the Magik figure from last week. So, want to make sure we get that out. Anyway, I've been following this book because I was a big fan of West Coast Avengers, the original series. It did get kind of bad, as it got further on down, well past Burns' run, and then it turned into that garbage Force Works. But this book here is comic soup. And by that, I mean, it goes back to a Mad magazine I read when I was a kid, where they did a comic strip about various comedians of the time doing the fly in my soup type joke. And hey, Butters is going to join us. There she is. There's the chubber butt. So the joke was in one of the panels, I forget which comedian it was, maybe it was their take on Stephen Wright, said that soup is food's last chance to be eaten. I think the whole thing was soup is just wet food. Soup is food's last chance to be eaten. But anyway, that's kind of what this book is, because it's full of these characters from failed series. We have America, who the less said about her series, the better, because she's not even that bad of a character, although she's still really hard ass in this book. Almost to the point of being unlikable, but not as bad as America. I didn't even do anything on that series because it was so bad. It was too easy. We have Gwenpool, whose series just never caught on, and I'm a big fan of Gwenpool. If you read Animal Man by Grant Morrison, his run of it, the beginning of the series, if you liked it, I think you would like Gwenpool. I highly recommend her series. I wish it would have kept going. I can't say enough, and it's interesting how they pull her into this book, given what her powers are. She's a real person in the comic world, and they kind of address that in here. I didn't really follow much of Kate Bishop's story. This isn't the Hawkeye I know, but I'm coming around to him. Views I know nothing about. But I will say one thing, Kelly Thompson has really made me like Quentin. In Grant Morrison's, Grant Morrison again, in his X-Men, you weren't supposed to like Kid Omega. That was the whole point, and I haven't read all the stuff he's been in. Last I had known he was dead, and he was back alive, and now he's made Jubilee human again. But I didn't like the character. He came off. He's very arrogant. He's very brash, but I have to give Kelly Thompson credit on this. I like this character now. She's warmed me up to him, so she did a good job on that. This series, however, I'll come back to it in the end. This book is okay, and that's the problem. This book is very okay. It starts out very strong, and then it nosedives, and we'll get into that. So, because like I said, I can't talk very loud. My voice and it's not going to hold out, and I can already feel my nose starting to run and being all gross. So the book opens with Kate Bishop on the phone with Captain America, who is not happy that they've co-opted the West Coast Avengers name because they were on TV with that stupid Jimmy Kimmel thing. So this is a nice little bit here where Cap has to let her go because he has to deal with Namor, which makes it worse because now he says he's going to call her back, and she has to wait for Captain America to call. We've all been in this situation where we've had to sit there and, we're waiting to be called into the principal's office or something like that, or a meeting we don't want to go into. We've all been in that situation. So I like I like this part. And then it goes into this, cuts over to their next adventure, I guess you would say, um, where we have this guy called Gridlock, who wasn't that a new universe guy? Yeah, I think it was. He made all the poles. Uh, why do I remember these things? I I wish I could have that spot of memory back. So anyway, this guy, this two-page thing is way cooler than it has a right to be. It reminds me, the bus on top reminds me of that cartoon, Megas XLR. It didn't last very long, and I caught it, when my son was little. I really liked that show. It was nice and goofy, and I wish that show would have lasted. So yeah. Anyway, it's a silly thing. He's got all the cars together into a giant robot, and Gwenpool's trying to stab its head, and they're rescuing the people out of the cars, and um, yeah, I told you, Gwen, it's got no brain function. So yeah, stabbing it in the head. I just stabbed the crap out of this bus head, and the body does not care. I, this whole two-page spread is fun. And we got the guy, telling America she's very pretty. She's just like, keep your hands to yourself, girl, self, sir. Yeah, stuff like that. So the Hawkeyes take down Gridlock himself. Although, since you know how Green Arrow and Hawkeye used to use the giant boxing fist gloves. Yeah, the reason why they did that is, I used to do some archery as a kid, and yeah, even if you know anything about the way things go, this would still, it wouldn't just thud him. This would probably kill him, even with just these little cushion things at the end of an arrow. They shot it with enough force from all that way, but it's comics, whatever. We'll just say some type of super kinetic absorbing arrowhead. And then we have Quentin here. Once Gridlock himself is taken down, the robot car thing starts to fall apart. And yeah, Quentin catches everything. That's how arrogant he is. Just with his pinky. Just my broken pinky. Just, yeah. And so Gwenpool is going to do a backflip off of the car when all of a sudden she says, "Kitty?" She sees a cat inside one of the cars. So we get this ass shot as she jumps in to rescue it. And Quentin, of course, freaks out and he disassembles the car to rescue her. And yeah, so she's got that weird look on her face. Thanks. No problem. And then Gwenpool brings him back. I'm going to call him Jeff, and I can't wait for Lucky to meet him. Okay, they're back at their headquarters. I just feel the need to point this out. There were people in the cars that they were rescuing. Gwenpool just stole someone's cat. Because they were on the freeway, it looked like Gridlock was taking all these people's cars and putting them together. That's why they had to rescue all the people. Yeah, Gwenpool just stole someone's cat. Yeah, that's our hero. Just had to point that out. So America, she goes off. She has her own little thing going on. She threatens the camera crew, not to follow her or they'll get hurt. And I really wish they dropped this reality TV show because it's at this point, it's a lazy narrative to cut away and to have people basically say things to express their feeling that they couldn't work in organically. Excuse me. And I was wrong. I thought that was going to be part of MODOK in the first story arc, and no, it's a real reality show. So I wish they would cut that out. It's maybe 10. It's been done. That's all I'm saying. So they get a call from the mayor, and they fly out. They try and call America. America's not available, so they have to get the dragon lady that didn't want to be turned back from the previous story arc to fly them there. Except for Quentin, because, he could fly. And so they end up at a abandoned um, theme park. And the mayor said that she would, show up. Oh, hi, Butters. Yeah, Butters is not the mayor. No, she's gonna rub against. Come on, come on, back it up, chopper butt. But yeah, it turns out it's Madame Masque that lured them there. That says she was the mayor. Now, why she decided to have this hologram glowing face there, I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense. Um, so they get kind of well, first they try and get a hold of America again, and America is out on a date with Fuse's sister at a different like theme park. And oh, look at that! She has a little She-Hulk stuffed toy. I would totally own one of those. You know, especially since it's like classic She-Hulk. Yeah, I would totally buy one of those, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. So they respond to Kate's distress signal, and yeah, there's little bits of humor through this book that work. Like the 822 when Kate texted, um, 822 America, sorry to bother you, and I almost looked that up because I'm like, what code is 822? Do people even use text codes anymore? Like the whole 143. I don't know what 822 is. It was a typo, and I told you it was emergency. You said it was 822. That's obviously a typo. So they find out that their powers aren't really working right, and Gwen finds out there's a force field above them, and so they can't get out. Then we have Gwenpool, Thunderdome. I can't do it. Forgive me. So they end up getting teleported with Hellfire, and yeah, of course, it ends up the Tunnel of Love. It ends up with Gwenpool and Quentin together, and yeah, it's there's kind of teasing back and forth, and there's a really kind of weird bit here. Oh joy, a tunnel of love. You are absolutely insufferable. You know that. Funny, you seem to find me pretty sufferable the other night. Uh, That I did, but I thought you said you didn't want to talk about it. I, you're right, I don't. I was sort of hoping a romance angle would get me more play, but I should have kissed America. It would have been way less hassle. Now, I'm really, really, really hoping that when she said she would get more play, I'm assuming she meant that since she knows she's in a comic book, that it would mean that if she had a romance angle, she'd be a bigger part of the story, therefore be featured more. That's what she means by play. If she means play, then it's kind of creepy because remember, she's from the real world and she knows that all these people are comic characters, that they're not real. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. Um, Even though she is in her previous series, she has grown to show that she sees them as just as real, but she still knows they're in a comic book. And so Gwen is still pushing on her to tell him what her powers are, and she tells him, because he does point out her improbable aiming skills and how she's just as good as the Hawkeyes. And so she tells him, that I could have just I could just pulled the edge of the panel and gotten us out of here, this godforsaken tunnel, by just taking us to the next page. But it doesn't work anymore. I could do some stuff, but not other stuff. And it's been going on since before their powers got wonky at the theme park. And then we get this. I don't know what emotion this is supposed to be. Confusion, anger. There are some wonky expression faces here, and this is, you know, he told her what her powers are. She wasn't lying, but they end up getting shocked in the water and fall into one of the boats, all cute like. And then we have America and Clint, who are pretty much the two straight-headed people on the team. I don't really count Kate in that group, and they're rationally discussing, trying to figure out, you know, who has tech, who has Hellfire, who could be behind this. Is it multiple people? When a couple of succubi come out of the mirrors and kiss them. Hey, look, we can show cleavage in Marvel Comics again? Sweet. I think Kelly Thompson's been getting away with that, with having that in her books. And I'm not going to go much farther. Oh, I could figure out what I felt when I was turning the page there. Um, so we have this little moment where Fuse and his sister are talking as they're with Kate, and they get attacked by Shuriken. But it turns out they're exploding, and I don't really want to show too much more, but there is a really cool page of Kate, jumping from an explosion. But yeah, it turns out Kate sees. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you read the issue, she does foreshadow it. So this book, it's getting better. I've been kind of, I don't think I've been too hard on it. It's got some good bits, and this issue did just nosedive. It got almost like tropey at the end. Yeah, they end up in an abandoned theme park. Yeah, they end up in the House of Mirrors. They end up in the Tunnel of Love. I mean, we've seen that over and over. Could we have been in bumper cars like the cover shows? That would have been much better. Haunted bumper cars that they can't control. Yeah, I don't really know what to say about this. The book is getting better. I just wish Kelly Thompson wasn't so married to the idea of silly, goofy situations, going very silly, very goofy. I wish she would make it a little bit more serious and the humor coming from the people around them, instead of being saying silly things while silly things are going on. Because when things were getting like serious, like emotionally serious, like between Fuse and his sister, or Gwenpool and Quentin, I liked those parts of the book. They were really good. Clint and America's interaction was really good. Um, but yeah, I'm giving it like almost a 2 o'clock. It could edge up to 1:30. It's somewhere right between there in my made up scoring system. Um, I'm still going to keep picking up this book because I love the old West Coast Avengers, and I really like some of the characters in this book. I've turned around, and I really like Kid Omega, and I like Gwenpool. This could be, if they did something more with America other than being she's pretty much been the overpowered. I don't want to say bitchy, 'cause she hasn't even been that. She's just been very emotionless in this series, um, and that she's a lesbian. That's pretty much her character in this book. I like to see more depth from her. We're not seeing that in this book. But anyway, yeah, I give it about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And here it is, 18 minutes in, and I said I wouldn't go this long. So anyway, let's get this out of the way. I am going to pull a winner. This is from last week. I never emptied the hat. I'm glad I kept it, so I didn't have to re-pull people. So I've got Super Gay Assistant Terry here, and I'm going to pull a new winner for the Magik figure from last week. So I'll just grab this one, set the hat to the side, and let's see if I can open this up without tearing it, because I always do the glue really tight. I don't have to do it that tight. That's what she said. Because I really need to go back to bed here. I'm trying so hard not to sniffle into the mic here. So let's see. 23 from Maz. Yeah, this guy comments all the time, so I'm glad I was able to pull you. So yeah, congratulations. Go ahead and email me at riffviews@gmail.com. I'll go ahead and put a comment in there. But yeah, you're getting the Magik figure. And again, Motion King, I do apologize, and I appreciate your understanding. So yeah, congratulations, 23 from us. I'm going to try and do another video tomorrow. It depends how I'm feeling. So as you can tell, this is me all drugged up, and I've been fighting coughs and sniffles through this whole thing. So I appreciate you staying this long. And yeah, look at that, 20 minutes, 19 and a half minutes. Great. I will start getting these down to 10 minutes, I swear. All right. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.